Alright, what's up, people? I'm gonna do another video real quick. Y'all can see that's my hat bag. I packed my hats on, but I'm packing up different stuff off the truck. And now I gotta work on the seat. I'm gonna do that here. I'm on a 34 reset, which should end about 7 o'clock tonight. I had to update. I thought it was 5, but it was 7. By the time I got here and I looked at my 34-hour, my clock.
Home. Messaging. You have 8 hours and 0 minutes of remaining drive time.
Oh, shoot. I hope y'all can hear me. Hold on. Alright. I had to make sure y'all could hear me because I had it accidentally plugged into the speakers and the auxiliary plug on the truck. I just got through watching, it's a team I watch. It's a husband and wife team on YouTube, and it's called Lovin Truckin. I think that's the name of it. And they might be a little bit older than me. Maybe a little bit older than me. It's a couple. And I watched them kind of when they first came in. Very cute couple. The wife does the majority of the videos. The husband is more laid back. She had some kind of broken thing and had some therapy and was off the road for a little bit. They were also working to get a tiny house. Really like their channel. I still like her. We may have some different political views, but I like her channel. So I had breakfast with Mr. Shaw this morning. Hey, Shannon. He had a load that he was picking up somewhere here, and we were supposed to get ribs last night, and that didn't work out. And then this morning, he's like, "You here still?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well," he said, "I'm waiting because the load he had got rescheduled, and it was going to be a couple of days." And so because he had the truck accident, he had to get the numbers on the side of his truck, and he's got some other things he's got to do. And he's based out of Texarkana, so he and I had dinner last night here, and then this morning I got up and we went and had breakfast after I dealt with a bunch of stuff on the truck, put up laundry and stuff. So I got to clean this over here, and I need to pack some more stuff up because I'm probably going to be out here for maybe, I looked at the calendar, maybe a week or two more, and then I'm going back home probably right before Black Thursday. I'll reach out to Joe. We've had a little friendly beef because family issues with his family and some things that happen. Friends have arguments, and we just had an argument, and he is my friend. There's nothing more. We're just really, he's like really my best male, one of my best male friends. So you're going to have disagreements. And actually, that's a good segue into this. As a country right now, everybody is so extreme on both ends. They're trying to say, oh, this end is more extreme than that end, because that's kind of the rhetoric we're getting from some of the politicians. Some of the verbiage being used by our current leadership is not good verbiage. It's really poor verbiage. And I was shocked that somebody who is maybe a successful businessman is not as articulate as I think he should be. But it's okay. I mean, not everybody is speaks well. Okay, I probably may not speak as well to some people as other folks. I don't know. However, think before you speak. But again, I think there are some deeper seated issues there. I mentioned in a video that I did, I don't know if it was this video, it might have been a Christian video. It might have been my Christian video. I think it was a Christian video on my Christian channel. That we have to be very careful of how we're jumping on different bandwagons. I watched a video this morning. Well, first I dealt with the issue with Ashley, but I watched a video just a few minutes ago, actually, and in Lovin Truckin, and what she did was she said she basically had a wake-up call about, she started researching things about Hillary Clinton, and basically she found out, based on whatever research she did, I don't know what research she did, that, Hillary Clinton and the family had done all this bad stuff, even murder and all this other stuff. And, people, I'm going to tell you something. And it's something, I'm coming from an African-American perspective, something we grew up learning. We grew up learning something that sometimes everything you see ain't the truth, and everything you read ain't the truth. And you have to really be cautious as to what you intake. Okay? The world has certain perceptions of African Americans because there was a certain perception about us that was put forth among media, among a certain class of people or a certain ethnic group. So you also have to be careful about lumping everybody into one category. Okay. What's true, what's false? Honestly, when it comes down to politics, I think most of them are dirty. In some form or fashion, when you go into that industry, I think there's just some dirt. It's the same way with climbing up the ladder in business. The higher you climb, usually the more unscrupulous things you may have to do in order to hold positions, titles, and so forth. And it's funny, Trucker Bill's sister-in-law, she was an executive VP for a company called Sun American Security. She's deceased now, AIG. And I had some really good side conversations with her, because it's so funny how you meet people and we automatically presume certain things about them. And you presume that they didn't have to go through maybe what you're going through. You presume that they held this position, and no, she was very forthcoming. And one thing I knew is she tried to hold a certain standard, but there's sometimes you have to compromise to get things done, or just not compromise and then get shunned or get your glass ceiling put up. You have to be careful, you know. In watching the video that Lovin Truckin did, she said that she had an experience that made her go research the Clintons. So when she was looking, she said she was just totally depressed at everything that she had heard about Hillary, I guess, murder and all this other stuff. I don't know what's true or false. What we know is that we had the Russian hacking going on, and where they were planting stuff in using different social media avenues in order to plant negative feedback in order to get a certain person in office that they wanted. Could the Clintons have had somebody killed? Absolutely, but so could Trump. When you're dealing with people in these higher echelon places, these higher echelon fields, what we have to understand is that Macon probably got a lot of dirt. It kills me, because we're down here, leaning towards one extreme or another, and not realizing these people are in some upper echelon stuff, and sometimes what they mixed up in to get to where they were is not always beautiful. My father, he always said big money is usually tied to some dirt somewhere. In corporations, we saw one of the biggest banks right now, Wells Fargo, and all the dirty stuff that they were trying to do in order to rake money into their business. I hate to say it, but in just working in business and seeing some of the things that I saw, even in the industry I'm in now, there's dirty stuff that happens in this industry. People trying to get over on each other to shake coins out of you, you know, and demean your humanity to shake coins. People, wake up. That's why I'm not, as a registered voter, I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm independent. Because to me, that's what you need, is some independent damn thought. I'm looking at this, I'm like, people, y'all need some independent thought. And if you're just going on the bandwagon of, oh, this person said this and this person said that, and you put a country like this against each other, that's really not good. We need what's called level-headedness, that even keel, so you can make wise decisions. And I'm reading, then I went and read some of the comments of people, and folks is jumping on people and defending, because you can tell she's more pro a certain way in the video that she did. She didn't really tell you, but she left it where you pretty much know where her mindset is. And so some people, you know, just went in there and called her idiot, and they're mad because they don't like the person that she probably leans towards. And even that was uncalled for, but it's also uncalled for all these other people that just jumped on the person for saying, let me say something to you. This is America. Since I was a kid, you got the right to free speech. Now, we need to do that in a peaceful way. we really do. We need to do it in a very peaceful way, and we also need to be respectful. I can say I don't agree with you. You can say I don't like black people. Okay, I went to school with people who didn't like black people. I work with folks I knew didn't like black people. I work with people who don't like gay people. You know, I we're at truck stop here. This truck stop here in Houston. Gentleman in the truck stop, he made some comments about California. I kind of smiled, but yet he told me he was born in California. You just talked about where you was born in a negative sense, but you're making fun of the people that's from there, and you from there. And I kind of giggled, and he don't roll. He think I'm laughing at him. I was laughing at him. I was laughing at what he said. I'm laughing at the ignorance in it. He had the stars and bars. Y'all know what that means? The stars and bars. I call them the stars and bars, like this. We call it kind of the racist flag. That, you know, basically it's a white guy who believes in the old republic or whatever. Yeah, stars and bars. Racist is the racist symbol for what he believed in. And had it on his belt buckle, had it on his belt, told me everything I need to know about him. He spoke to us, he talked to us, he was cordial, he made some comments. He didn't call nobody the N-word, but he then talked about the folks in California like they was dogs. I'm kind of getting it. Because I'm thinking, you just told me you from California, Los Angeles area of all places. You were born there. I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Louisiana. Oh, okay. And, but I was born in. But yeah, the only thing you got out there in California, just negative. He has full right to even the ignorant statement he made. Me and the gentleman, the African-American gentleman that were in there, he's from California. We just kind of looked and let him talk, and we're not going to fight him. I'm not going to pull out a gun and blow his brains out. I'm not going to do any of that, whether I agree or disagree with what he says. But I'm going to say this to you. When growing up as a kid, I grew up with some very wise older people. One of the ladies, she's an aunt by marriage. I always just call her Miss Pearlie. Miss Pearlie said, there are some things in this life that can get you killed. So always watch discussing them openly. Matter of fact, just don't do it. Politics, religion, sex. Okay? Let's say it again. Politics, religion, sex. Those three things. You can have a discussion, piss off the wrong person, walk out of a building, and they blow your brains out. Stay away from those conversations. How we deal with certain subjects is crucial, very crucial, okay? And I just want you guys to be very careful. In saying that, that's not where this video originally was going to go. What I want to talk about is Kim, and kind of it is. Kim, who's also on, I think she's on the YouTube channel too, but she's on Facebook as well as some of the politics I saw, and as well as everything I heard in conjunction with this election. And I listened to Urban View, channel 126 on Sirius a lot. It's probably one of my favorite stations. Sometimes I have to take some of the people in doses. Hunter I like. Joe Madison, I have to take him in doses because he be talking crazy sometimes. I'm like, man, just let the man finish. And I know you may not agree with him. And he be arguing. He like that old person that argue with people just because he can, and it's his way to get off his channel. So I sometimes listen to him, but he is on it. Sometimes he's on his game. I like Karen Hunter a lot. Karen is hilarious, but she ain't no joke either. And then my boy who got me actually really listening to it was, what is his name? I just forgot his name. He be having me cracking up. Godfrey. And Godfrey had me rolling. Just because Godfrey is straight up hilarious. Y'all, let me say this to you. As a country, a lot of what's happening right now, I hate to say it, in my opinion, it needs to happen. We needed to see that the underbelly of America was still the underbelly. And what has happened as a society, we got so materialistic. My brother is he's a general manager out for Hilton out in Dallas for Hilton Hotel. And when we've reconnected because of things with my mother, there was a separation, the two brothers I raised. So I reconnected with the first one. The second one I've seen him, but we haven't really connected. So I need to reach out to him when I get home, because I do, before I hit a casket, I need to interact with him. But my brother, when I saw him, he's married. Both of them are married. He has kids now. And he says, Shannon, I pretty much just been staying in my bubble. That is a dangerous place. It's a dangerous place that we just stay in our own bubble, because the world is still moving and we still have to interact with people. What's happened is everybody's in their own bubble, and because we don't understand each other. I have a house, I have a car, I've got 2.5 kids, I've got a yard, I go to work, I make my check, I get all materialistic, and it's all about me. The hell with everybody else. Well, that has its repercussions in what we're seeing today. Because when we stay in our own bubble, we forget that the world is still churning, and there's other people who, in their own bubble, are developing a very sick mindset as to who you are ethnically. And so they're still being taught old, ignorant thought processes. In addition to, we don't get to interact with people to have an impact so they see something different. I'm going to put a link below, if I can find it, to a YouTube video for Rolland Martin and, I forgot her name, Megan Kelly, I think that's her name. She was a talk show host who talked about blackface, and she got a lot of backlash for the comments that she made from the African American community, because she didn't understand, okay? And so Rolland, to me, did an excellent job of explaining the history of why blackface is not acceptable, and you'll see her response to it. Kim, on my YouTube, Kim on my Facebook channel, made some comments regarding we have internally in what I call the African culture, whether from Jamaica, Caribbean, wherever you come from of African descent, we have this divide. And the divide actually started with a lot of our captivity, and we still have not, even in the current times, gotten mentally out of an entrenched mindset that came and has translated through slavery and captivity here in America and Jamaica and in other countries and other parts of the world. The Nigerian lady that I had on my truck, I did not know, because I've dealt with Africans before, people from Africa, from different, like the Sudanese. The gentleman who helped me when I went to do my CDL, Mike, he's one of the Sudan boys who is a refugee who came over to the U.S., and we helped them because of the genocide that was happening, and they were allowed to come into the U.S. as U.S. citizens. Several churches, even the, I hate to say, well, I don't say hate, even the Mormon church reached out and helped with the genocide that was taking place and taking in the Sudanese boys. I mean, all across the U.S., churches got together, all sorts of different denominations and different religious backgrounds, helped with helping these kids come in to try to save some of them and give them a life here in the U.S. So they came to our country. I can't remember what all countries they went to. But if you guys look at the Sudanese boys and the genocide that took place, the church that I went to, the AME in Phoenix, we actually were even part of the Sudan Refugee Project. So what I want to say is that I had dealt with them in that level, and Christian group of people. They have strong Christian values from the Sudan. All of them are named with names, biblical names, like Matthew, John, Mike, Michael, the angel Michael. Something biblical was their name because they have such strong Christian background in that country that was introduced to them somehow, probably through, as we know, the colonizers is what we call them, the colonizers. And during the time of the basically slavery, it's what it was. So I did not know that Nigerians look at African Americans that are here in America, they look down on us. They look down on us, and they would rather learn from Anglos, or what we call, and I hate colors, white people. Okay, they'd rather take because they think they're better than us, because that's been an entrenched mindset. Ethnic divide is another tool of racism, okay? Even within the same cultural groups, okay? So if I remember correctly, and again, I studied African American history in college, and we had a professor come, I think he came from like the East Coast. He was good. Him and his wife were phenomenal. And this video might be long. Him and his wife came, they taught, and I learned so much, because we're not taught about other cultures in America. And this is something Rolland talks about in his conversation with Megyn Kelly. So what I liked is that he educated her. We have to be careful about judgment and education. Two different things. That's why I said God has worked on me on judging people, because we do not know where they're come from. We also, because we are so bubble-centric, I'm going to stay in my bubble, and he dealt with that too. We're bubble-centric. I'm going to stay with the black people that are black people like me. It's the same thing with thought process. My friend that I stayed with, she voted for Trump. Her and her daughter voted for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't like any of the candidates, and I'll be honest, I like Bernie. That was who I liked. Okay? I'm a McCain fan. I'm an Arizonan, and I thought McCain was a good senator. I thought that he even though his views were more conservative, he would make non-conservative choices. I also had a friend that worked for him, and I had, some good insight as to, he's still a politician, but he had a different character about him. And so you have to make the best choices when we're looking at that. But again, we all are so bubble-centric that we stand up. So my brother's like this, he's only worried about his little family and whatever material things they want. We're such a materialistic society, and we become so entrenched in materialism. I want to have the latest Jordans. I want to have this necklace. I want to have these earrings. I got to get my nails done. I got to have my weave going, whatever it is. I got to look a certain way, and it's all about me. So we lose sight of the bigger picture of being able to be a culture that interacts with each other and accepts differences. I had strong Christian values. This morning, me and Shot talked about the former lifestyle I was in. I got people from all walks of life to watch me, okay, on this channel and on the Christian channel. And I don't judge. I made Christian decisions as to why I no longer am active in the gay lifestyle. But I can't judge another person who decides I'm still am, and I believe God is okay with that. I'm not going to argue about the difference of it. I'm going to say, crack your Bible, and you got to make your choices. And at the end of the day, we both stand before him, and God will make judgment, and he'll let us know what's what. I have to appreciate and understand that God gave us all free will for a reason. And you're going to do what you're going to do, and God is going to wake those up. He's going to wake up. He's going to try to wake up and reach out in his own way. It's going to be what it's going to be. I no longer try to convince people of anything, because you can't. But what I will say is, we all have to, Rodney King, can we all just get along? we need to get to a point where we get along and we try to understand to some degree. And I don't know if I want to use that. Let's say appreciate. That might not be the right word either. I don't like tolerance either. Tolerance is another issue. But basically, we have to accept, that's a better word, that you have the free will right to do what you're going to do. And as long as you really, in my opinion, not killing nobody, not murdering nobody, and not imposing upon my child or upon my household something that I may not agree with, then that's your life. And that's between you and the Lord. The politic thing that you have so many folks getting involved in right now, we have to be very careful at even how we're dealing with that. And you have the right to your vote and your thought process. I just don't need you to push that on me and also become so violent about it. You've got the right to it. Maybe you're right. Maybe this person you support is the genius of geniuses. You have the right to that. To go out and murder and kill and blow up and shoot and kill behind it is just ignorant. That's ignorant, and something's wrong. And we have to be careful when we get to that degree with our emotions. We also have to make sure that we're looking at things through the right glasses and not being so, it's hard to kind of put this in the context, persuaded to think that something is better. So if you're white, you're better than me because I'm black. If you're Nigerian, you're better than me because you're originally from Africa and I've been blended into the cultures because maybe master was up in the slave quarters, and so I got white somewhere down my line, or my family line has intermixed with the Native Americans that were here, or we might have Latinos in our family line. So we're not a true African from Africa, but our major descent has made that a major portion of who we are. So that now you think because you're pure, you're from Nigeria, you're better than us. It's not good. We don't. Humanity needs to appreciate humanity on all levels. Okay? And God gave us free will to choose how we're going to serve, how we're going to act, what we're going to do on this planet. Choose wisely. And right now, as I said, God, in my opinion, I believe the person that's in office is supposed to be there because I believe we needed to see the true underbelly of America, and everything possible is rising to the surface. We realize that racism exists stronger than it ever existed before. And I don't like racism because to me that is the major problem, is because we're doing the divide based on a color code of white or black. And it's funny because even with the situation where they went in and shot up the Jews at the synagogue. Let me back up. When I took the college course, something I found out, which was really interesting, and I'm going to come back to the synagogue thing. In America, and he did a lesson on this, and I remember, this is years ago, this is like in my late 20s. He said that certain classes of people were put under the white category even though there are people of color, okay? Because they did not want to lose their numbers in the white majority. So if I have people from the Middle East, they can say they fall under the white category, okay? Or even though there are people of color, because if you look at most Jews, Middle Easterners, most of them have hair some of them have kinky hair like ours. Some of them have pigmentations that are a darker pigmentation than those European Anglos that consider themselves white. That's why I don't like the white classification. I don't like the black classification. I like the ethnic classification because ethnicity tells culturally where you're from. They went in and shot up this because you're not what we consider maybe pure white, somebody from an Anglo background. The irony is that America's so mixed up now, it's a mess. And we did a DNA test to find out what everybody's made of, even those who look, quote unquote, under the white race. They're going to find out they got a whole bunch up usually all up and through they line that ain't Anglo, especially now in America. It's been too mixed up. Too much stuff going on. In the African American community, and Kim brought this up when she was talking about this Jamaican lady that had gotten into office, and she said it kind of ticks her off because in Jamaica in the Caribbean they sometimes have kind of a class society among the what we consider blacks there. And the more lighter skin, which we fought here in America too, blacks felt like they were better, or a certain class better, than some of the darker skin ones. Same things happen in India. They have a caste society based on where where they're born in their line as to jobs that they can get and things like that, which is just insanity. So they do it on a caste society based on the family you're born into. It's just straight ignorance. And a lot of it is probably from some of the colonization that took place, even in India. I was listening to Godfrey, and a young man who's from India was on there talking about basically because they were taken over too for a while, okay? And they're a people of, I mean, really, they don't go under black, but they're people of color. They're people of, you know, they're like us. Their skin tone is different. Their hair is different. They're not European whites. I don't like the whole race thing. I absolutely hate it. And ethnically, it's good to know who we are for a lot of reasons. Physical reasons, things that run in our lines. I was just talking to the young lady inside about why so many African Americans are lactose intolerant. In most of Africa, we had goats and not cows. So goat milk is something we're more accustomed to than cow milk, and so a lot of us have some lactose problems when we do cow's milk. But if you don't ethnically know this, because it's an ethnic thing, a lot of what's being bubbling to the surface is really based on our own ignorance, not wanting to learn. And now we don't pick up books, we watch videos. We don't go back to good research. Instead, I'm going to watch a video that's supposed to tell me, where's my other headset, y'all? Sorry, I'm charging headset. That's supposed to tell me about my ethnicity. And I'm going to believe what that tells me. Come on, people. You know, and I watched her talk about, you know, I watched all these documentaries and videos, and I was upset. This one which I love Truckin. Okay. Some of it may be true. Some, you really, I don't know what's true. I don't know what's false. My niece told me this, Shannon, they done kill people. You know if that was planted or not? I don't know what's planted, what's true, what's false. Am I shocked? No. Most people get in power have usually done some stuff to get there. Does that make the one that's up there right now any more innocent? He's done some stuff. He's sitting in a position. Got female issues. He's got compulsive lying issues. He's not perfect. All we're doing is choosing which demon is the best. And we're getting so caught up. And right now you got the country at war with each other over one demon who's better than the other demon. All demons. You want my opinion? Let's get the ordinary Joe on the street and put his ass up in a political position and say, fix our country. Actually, what we really need is a housewife. I need a woman who's maintaining a house with like 4 or 5 kids and balancing a crazy-ass budget, and put her up there. The one who really knows how to run her household. That's what we really need. Give me somebody who ain't about. This wasn't what my goal was. And put her ass up there. And let's let her fix it. I'm rambling a little bit. Because my mind's been thinking on a lot of this. And watching. And then when I saw this video today. We are so caught up. And really, what we need to be caught up in is getting our spiritual life in order, and how to be a better human, and how to educate one another and have a good open dialogue. And a lot of us, even in the African American community, we don't know our history. Especially these young folks. They have no freaking clue. Because it's not taught. We're taught an American history, which may or may not all be true. Like Columbus discovered America. He was lost and ended up in America. He discovered crap. We needed. We need to step back in every culture. I'm going to share a quick story with y'all, and y'all take from it what you want. I was working for Best Western back like my 20s, early 20s. I wasn't even 21 yet, as a matter of fact. And I worked with this guy named Dean. Dean might be dead now because he was HIV positive. Dean was gay. We became very good friends. When I'm going to tell you the story. And I was the first black person they ever had, and I hate the word black, in this department for Best Western. It was a Best Western Airlines sales department, Phoenix, Arizona. And I started out as a customer service rep, moved into the airline sales, and what we did was, back then, we booked people. We booked everything, their hotel stay, their car rental, and their Best Western stay. They would contact us. It wasn't on the phone. Everything was now paperwork through the computer. And I wasn't there very long, maybe about 6 months, 2 years. Oh, it was even a year? Might have been a year altogether. It was a year altogether with the customer service in the position. First time I ever experienced in the workplace discrimination. No, it was another job. But first time I experienced it personally. So when I got in there, I was the first one, and it was me and two Latino, well, no, it was a Latino girl, was two of them there? No, one Latino girl, and Dean. And Dean was the gay guy. And I was the undercover gay chick who never talked about, I didn't talk about it back then. And I wasn't as tomboy probably looking back then as, because I worked in offices. I had been taught how to dress for an office experience. So I became more casual later because it was a more casual environment, but I used to go in to business. Oh, yes, it was a Latino. The lady who was over the whole department was Latino. She was special. I remember her. Anyway, my life in that department was a living hell. I was just treated horribly. And I didn't know why. I didn't because, again, I grew up on both sides of the fence. And where my high school I grew up was, you could count the blacks and Latinos on your hand and feet. And we got along. We were kids, And I grew up in a predominantly Mormon school, so not a big deal. Well, Dean was a former Mormon missionary, white guy. I was getting ready to turn 21 years old. There was a lot that was going on in the department. They just I won't even go into everything. But I didn't even understand why I was being treated so poorly, because apparently there were conversations about me happening behind the scene, and accused of a whole bunch of weird stuff. One girl accused me, I guess, of eating the crackers out of her drawer and stealing stuff. It was just insanity. And I didn't know about it until Dean told me years later. So Dean had a gay guy, and he was involved in all sorts of crazy relationships back then. It was back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And he ended up homeless while we were working, living out of his truck. Okay? I had a little studio apartment. I was living in Phoenix, and I was getting ready to turn 21, but I needed to get some furniture for my apartment because I was getting things. I was renting the furniture, like the furnished apartment, but it was extra money. So I had a bed that was given to me, stuff that we needed to pick up, and Dean had a truck. So I was talking to one of the girls who was next to me, who was another problem. I didn't realize that later. She's special. And she said, Dean, Shannon needs somebody to help her with picking up a bed. Can you do that? And I said, I forgot you had a truck. I appreciate it. I'll pay you for gas or whatever. Because I knew he talked about the fact he was homeless. He was just waiting for his next check. He had gotten into an altercation with whoever the dude was that he was living with, messing with, hell, I don't know. And they both got kicked out the apartment. He didn't have money to go get another apartment. So he was homeless for about a good 30 days before he had enough money to get another apartment. And in telling us the story, I told him, I said, you really probably just need to get something on your own. And weird, he found an apartment not that far up the street from me, like maybe 3 or 4 blocks from where I lived, a cute little apartment. So Dean had helped me, and I was turning 21. Him and the same girl, we all went and picked up the bed and got it to my apartment, and then he helped me get up to the apartment, and then he said, and I had a little couch, and he says, can I take a shower here? And I was like, no problem. Take a shower. And then, he hadn't eaten, I hadn't eaten, and I didn't have a lot of food. I mean, we were really just making it, barely making it back then. Wasn't making a lot of money. And I had a care package from my grandmother. So she had made, food for me, and it was really enough for me. I split my food directly in half with him, shared it. And he's like, this is not enough for 2 people. And I said, we're going to make it enough for 2 people. That's the family I came from. My family, you went to my grandma's house, she going to feed you. Any of our family, you come to our house, we're going to feed you. If you hungry, we're going to make it work. That's just how we work. As dysfunctional as my family is on both sides, that's just how we are. You hungry, we're going to feed you. Might be some beans and rice in a tortilla, might be some ham and some bread, might be some bologna and bread, might be a PB&J, but we're going to make this work. Everybody going to eat up in this house, okay? Later, Dean asked me to help him with something he needed moved, and I helped him. This white man still tears me up to this day. This is the difference in interacting and not staying in your bubble. Dean sat on my steps, tears rolling down his face. White man. He said, I owe you an apology. He said, you have one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen in my life. He said, Shannon, I grew up as a Mormon missionary. I'm a gay man, and I was kicked out of the Mormon church. He says, and we were taught certain things about black people when I grew up. And he says, and I have always generalized and put you all in the same bucket. And I'm wrong, and I'm sorry. He began to spill some of why my life was so miserable at Best Western, and some of the discriminatory things, because he had in the background said things about me. He says, and nobody even knows you because you're so quiet. When I went into work, I minded my business. I did my job and I left. I don't tell you all my business because I just have never really, it's not for you really to know. I didn't go in there, I'm gay, I'm free, I'm straight, I don't know. So what I found sometimes culturally is that if people don't know stuff about you, they'll make it up. And this is where dialogue needs to happen, because if you don't understand a different ethnic group, you make it up. Even within your own, the African American or the African experience is broad. Jamaican, Caribbean, America, Africa itself. It's so broad. If we can come to an understanding that we're human and that we all bring some very diverse and unique experiences to the table, we may be able to appreciate each other and find that what we thought about something isn't true. And if it has any inkling of truth, it's not necessarily truth for everyone. Are all black folks criminals? No. Are all black folks ghetto? No. And where does the term ghetto originate from? Ghetto originates from, if I remember correctly from some of my studies, Jewish apartment complexes is where that word, I think, comes out of. But in America, we generalize that to some black folks or somebody living in a certain area. People. We've got to be very careful at how we look at things. And it's funny because what I also was thinking lately is I was going back and I saw another video on Facebook about Tyler Perry. He was doing an interview with Oprah, and you just never know where people come from. He talked about the abuses of his, what he thought was his, or what he was told to be his dad, who most likely he found DNA-wise is not his father. And we have to be very careful because we assume people grew up a certain way. And what I realize is from damage, sometimes people that have been through some hell end up being some amazing people. Don't always think that I came from this and this is all I can be, or that's all that person is ever going to be. You don't know what somebody will become. You don't know how that person will change your life. So if you are somebody who considers yourself quote unquote white and you put people who are black in a category, you don't know what blessings will happen when you interact with somebody who's of a different ethnic background. And that's what Dean found out. He found out all black people ain't the same. It doesn't even fit what I was told. I'm sitting here with this black woman who has had the biggest heart. She's broken food with me. She's helped me with stuff. And we became very good friends. He said, you changed my entire view of what I thought of black people. And gave me a hug, tears streaming down this grown white man's face. What really was mind-blowing to me is how he could be a gay man and discriminate against a black woman. Because I'm like, you're a discriminated group, especially back in the 80s. And now on top of that, HIV positive too. And this is during the time when there was no real good treatments for AIDS. His brother died of AIDS, which is how he got the truck. They're both two gay guys. Both former gay missionaries. And we gotta be careful, people. We gotta be real careful. Even in politics right now, this hateful divide, stop. Everybody is welcome to their opinion. This is America. What makes us so uniquely different from every other country is that we have been a country that has appreciated and trying to grow to that point differences. While I might not agree with certain lifestyles, I might not understand certain things. Somebody shared something on here with me about the trans thing. Even in the gay community, back in my early days, we didn't even gay, queer, or trans, queer. They weren't even a part of our group back in my day. And like I told a person, I don't understand it. And I can't understand it. It's not something I'm going through. But it's not my business. That's between you and the Lord. What I'll do is I'll pray that God works out for you what he needs to work out for you. I'm not going to sit here and judge you. And you have the right to work. You have the right to live. You have the right to eat. You have the right to go through this life until you hit a casket. Now, what happens on the other side of that casket, that's a conversation with you and him. I can't get involved in that. I have my own Christian views of it. But what did I tell you, Miss Burley told me? There's certain things you don't discuss. Politics, religion, and sex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to love you as the human being you are. God will work the rest out. I'm not going to sit here and beat up on you, talk you down. I'm not. I've had my own experience. It's like somebody coming because I have the whole gay thing in the past. What right does it give you to talk to me and crazy? Beat up on me because of my choices? I've made some other decisions based on my own spiritual viewpoint. Other people who I know, I had family members who are very actively gay. I got friends. Am I going to beat them up? No, I'm loving them. They're my friend. Not my decision. I got friends who are heterosexuals who do some things I dang sure don't agree with. I think it's crazy as hell. But what I've learned is I'm just going to love them where they're at. I don't agree with them. I don't agree with maybe the person they with. Do you? Do you? We have to be wise in how we are interacting human to human. We have to be more conscientious of living in our own bubble and learning to expand our bubble out a little bit more so that hopefully people can meet somebody different than the preconceived notions of what a black person is, what a Latino person is, and that we don't get caught up in this undertide of stupid racial divide. It even happened in the Latinos and blacks, Mexicans and blacks in Arizona. We used to be tight like this because we were in the same boat. We're both minorities. We both were at a certain economic class. Well, then white America says, well, they're lighter than you, so we'll accept them more than the black person because we don't need that dark skin color. So the Latino community raised up and became better than us. And then the divide that happened with this Nigerian girl to think she's better than you're still a minority. But in the words of Malcolm X, the chicken has come home to roost. And now we're being told, We don't want y'all coming into our damn country because we don't need the minority population growing anymore because we're scared. White, wealthy men are scared that their power position is gone. They're no longer, they're really not in the majority. If you took the minority class of people right now, white men are not in the majority. The only thing that keeps them where they're at is the money, which is their power. That's it. That's it. And that they're in charge of the political arena, which is why we're in the mess we're in right now. It's just what it is. Wake up. Please wake up. Be independent of thought. Stop jumping on Republicans. Stop jumping on Democratic. Get independent. Ask God to give you some wisdom and show you something. And understand you have a free will that was given to you by God. You can free will serve him, not serve him, live in this world. You got free will to do that. Judgment will come at the casket after the casket call. That's just the way it works, in my humble view. You can live here peacefully. Get along. Do what you're going to do. Judgment call at the casket after the casket. We ain't got about here killing each other. We don't. We just don't. Is it going to stop? Yeah, it's not going to stop. But maybe what I'm saying will wake some of you up so you'll live a better life. You'll make some wiser choices. You'll expand your mind and start choosing differently. I'm sorry for this video to be this long. So to your thought process, Miss Kim, when you were talking about that Jamaican, I get it. I get it. And the best we can do is pray. And I understand it. That some of these people wake up and we stop seeing people so separately and see us all rowing in the same boat. Because at the end of the day, we all got the casket call. And hopefully we get it right before the casket call. That's really the big one. And we learn to peacefully agree to disagree. We learn to have values that we have that don't overtake people. I don't like marijuana. I don't think it should be legalized. I mean, that's just me. I don't want to be nowhere around it. But if you legalize it, keep that over there. I don't want to get on the bus and smell it. I don't want to get on public transportation. I need that to be something that is regulated in your home. I don't want to smell it. Yeah, I don't. You know, there's things I don't agree with. I don't agree with abortion. Never have. I feel that if you end up pregnant and you don't want the child, please give somebody else a chance to have a child who might not be able to have one. I can't physically have children. I have my ovaries, but I don't, I had a hysterectomy. If I wanted to adopt a child, at least I have an opportunity to give a child a home. I would rather that for a child than for the child to grow up in an abusive situation and or for them to be aborted. I have my own personal and spiritual views of abortion. I don't agree with it. Now, some people say, well, it's a woman's right to choose. Okay, but I don't agree with it. I don't know that I look at it like that. I think that's, a political conversation, and that's a way for us to justify abortion, which I don't. I have my own, like I said, my own views. Am I going to get in a full-fledged conversation about that with people? No. I mean, I'm saying what I feel right now as an example. And I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm not going to argue. You have your free right view to, you believe in a woman's right to choose, or you believe in abortion, or you don't believe in it. I am not going to get here and argue with you. I'm not. You have a God-given right of free will. That's one of the things he gave every last one of us. So let's peacefully agree to disagree. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I had a friend right now. Me and my friend we had to have a very, in a roundabout way, a conversation about he's been put into position to raise some nephews. I agree with our total view of raising children is absolutely 100% opposite. I believe in discipline by whooping somebody behind. I don't believe in necessarily having a little conversation. I'm going to talk. No, hell no. You don't listen and you are a child, then I believe in spanking that tail. Now, I don't believe in abuse. There's a difference. I do believe in a good little butt whooping, though. I don't got a problem with tapping that butt. Now, other people, that's abuse. You're spanking the child. Okay, we're gonna agree to disagree. He's gonna get his ass whooped. I just don't say. You know, I'm not gonna have necessarily a conversation. There's times when there's conversation. There's times when there's a good behind whooping, a good spanking. You know, but how you rear children also dictates if you do have to spank. My friend Jane, she said, my dad only had to spank me one time. Never ever. My dad could speak and I listen. Because depending on how you parent him, once you set that establishment, hey. And some spankings ain't always physical. I'm just saying. Anyway, y'all, this thing getting ready to reach in and it's going on way too long. I want y'all to be blessed. I want you to just really think that we have to be careful and research what you understand about race. Research. I had to educate Laura, and I'll give you this last example. On the TheTrucker411, we worked at the University of Phoenix together, and we were talking about food. She's a vegetarian. We were talking about chitlins or ham, something with food. And I was talking to Shy this morning about it, or last night or this morning. And I said, you know, during slavery, we were given the worst part of the animal. One of the things that we eat is something called chitlins, or shitterlings, because it's the intestine of the pig. And black folks, we love it. Latino people eat it as well. They usually do it a little bit different. And it's in menudo, in a roundabout way, form of the tripe, whatever. When you're at a certain economic status, you stretch what you can. But what I said to him was this: it's a testament to our people. And remember, we were the cooks, the movie that helped for the people who felt they're better than us. Y'all haven't watched the Help Good movie. What I'm going to say to you is this: it is a testament to African Americans, to Latinos, that we could take the worst part of an animal and make it taste phenomenal. We're running businesses, soul food restaurants, Mexican food, and can make something that is the most disgusting part of an animal delectable, very good, delicious. We took the damn intestines of a pig, basically almost like a stew or a soup, and made that crap taste good. There's a book, I read it years ago, called Kafir Boy. It's about a young man from South Africa, Mark Methabane, I believe is his name, if I remember correctly. Y'all, that's a good book to read. And it talks about how the treatment during the apartheid in South Africa. It talks about how poor his family was. His mama made a blood soup, a soup from the blood of the animals to feed them. It's a testament that a person of African descent can take the worst part of something and feed a family. We all bring and have gone through some stuff, and we need to appreciate differences, because there's some hardships and some just sorrow that's going through there. That's why I can't judge a situation with this Ashley lady and what domestic, oh, she's stupid because she got involved with this dude whooping her head. I can't do that. I can't. Because I don't know what led up to that relationship, if that was what happened. I can't judge Tina Turner. You know? Anyway, y'all, finishing this out. I had to delete some video, and it's going to be a long video. I kind of educated Laura as far as some of our history, things she didn't know, and she said and listened, and she still remembers to this day. We have to be open to dialogue about ethnic differences and not be so hypocritical, so judgmental. And that's how we learn to get along. That's how we learn to cross the racial divide, which has been created, which is a bunch of bull. We really need to just delete that from our vocabulary and start appreciating each other's ethnic backgrounds, cultures, and learning about each other. One of my hopeful wishes before I hit a casket is to do some international travel. one of the things trucking did for me, it broadened my scope of people and parts of the country and viewpoints. And I still got stuff I gotta set ideas about certain people I gotta get over, because I've met some good-hearted people that maybe they're not the smartest tools in the box, but they are the sweetest people you'll meet on the planet. And intellect doesn't equal being personable, being embraceable, being lovable. It doesn't. It really doesn't. So, the Bible uses a phrase, I take the dumb things to confound or confuse the wise. Sometimes you think you're so wise, you don't learn to just love some basic, ordinary folks where they at, who are just good-hearted people. And I've been guilty. And we all set a prejudgment on people. We have to be careful, people. Anyway, guys, be blessed. I didn't mean for the video to be this long, but hopefully somebody will be blessed out of it, and you'll get through my rambles on ethnicity and race and a little bit of politics, sex, and religion. Y'all be blessed.